First, before I begin, I'd like to say I'm very excited to be here. This is my first select board meeting as your town manager and only my second day here in North Yarmouth. I truly appreciate the warm welcome that I've already received from our board, our staff, and members of the community. I'd also like to extend a sincere thanks to Don Gerrish. His leadership during the transition and for taking the time to help me was really wonderful. I had hoped my first town manager's report would be nice and short, but unfortunately tonight's report is going to be a little longer, and that's because I was asked to discuss something that's very important to nearly every property owner in this town. With tax commitments taking place later this week and tax bills arriving soon, I'm sure the question on everyone's mind is going to be, what does this mean for me? So I'm going to take a few minutes and explain what is going to be happening shortly. The town recently completed a statistical revaluation, and property owners have already received their proposed property assessments. The purpose of the revaluation is simple: to make sure every property is assessed as fairly and accurately as possible based on today's real estate market. It's not intended to, nor does it increase the town's budget or collect more tax revenue. Instead, it updates property values so that each property owner pays their fair share of the tax levy. Later this week, we are scheduled to commit the FY27 property taxes. Once that occurs, tax bills will be finalized and mailed to you as property owners. One of the biggest changes residents will notice in the anticipated tax rate is last year the tax rate was 20.71 per 1,000. This year the anticipated tax rate is 11.88. We're looking at a decrease of nearly 43%. At first glance, this is going to sound like great news, and for some people it may be, but it's important to understand what that number really means. The tax rate went down because your property values across North Yarmouth went up. When the total value of property in town increases, the same tax levy is spread across a larger tax base, resulting in a lower tax rate. Last year, a home assessed at roughly $450,000 with a tax rate of 20.71 would have paid approximately $9,320 in property taxes before exemptions. If that same home is now assessed at approximately $680,000 and taxed at the anticipated rate of 11.88, your tax bill would be approximately $8,078 before the exemptions. Another benefit of this revaluation involves the Maine homestead exemption. Last year, because North Yarmouth's certified assessment ratio is at 66%, a ratio established by the state of Maine and not the town, the homestead exemption was proportionally reduced from the statutory $25,000 to approximately $16,500. Now that the revaluation has returned assessments to full market value, eligible homeowners will once again receive the full $25,000 homestead exemption. The key thing to remember is this: your tax bill is not determined by the tax rate alone. It's determined by how your property's value changed compared to the average change across North Yarmouth. If your property's value increased more than the townwide average, you may pay a larger share of the town's tax levy, while properties with below average increases may see change or even a decrease in their tax bill. Because every property is unique, homeowners may experience different outcomes. Even when homes appear similar, this is a normal result of a revaluation and reflects how the market values individual properties. Communities across Cumberland County and throughout Maine have seen similar shifts following recent revaluations. As the tax burden is redistributed to align with current market values, while that may provide some perspective, it does not lessen the impact on residents facing higher taxes. It is important to remember that differences in assessment changes do not necessarily indicate unfairness. Under Maine law, assessments are intended to reflect each property's just value or market value as of April 1st of each calendar year. Because market conditions affect properties differently, changes in assessed values and the resulting tax burden will vary from property to property. If residents have questions about their assessment after receiving their tax bill, North Yarmouth works with Cumberland County Regional Assessing for assessment services. While Town Hall staff does not determine property values, we're here to answer general questions, explain the process, and connect residents with the appropriate assessing staff if they'd like to discuss their evaluation and learn more about the abatement process. As I begin serving North Yarmouth, one of my priorities is making local government approachable and responsive. We know tax bills can raise questions, and we want residents to know we're here to help. Whether we can answer the question ourselves or connect someone with the right person, our goal is to make the process as clear and straightforward as possible. So, thank you, and I'd be happy to answer any other questions. That was a lot.